What's up, friends and listeners? You're about to hear a new episode of Disrupting with Ashley Holt. That would make me Ashley Holt. Thank you for stopping by. Disrupting is about people who are quite literally allergic to the status quo in our world. They have to make a shift or a change when they see something that needs changing. So those are the conversations I'm having with my favorite social media follows, experts, maybe a celebrity or two could pop up. We're going to manifest that together. And just some of my friends that I know we're doing amazing work for the world around us. I'm so excited for you to hear these conversations. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite platform so you get notifications about new episodes, and leave comments for me. I love your feedback. Let me know what questions you want to ask, who you want me to reach out to for an interview, so that we can get started on disrupting the things in this world that we need to change together.
Brandon Pope, the only person strong enough to have a conversation with me on Cowboy Carter Day. Welcome to Disrupting.
What an honor. The only person strong enough.
There is only one, and it's you, because most other people know better than to engage with me on a day like this. Brandon, you are a disruptor. Before we get into why we're here, reimagining how people experience the news in Chicago specifically. Your news is more in depth. It appears to me, at least, to be for a younger audience. It's contextual. It's issues based. So you are really approaching the news in a way that is different and special, and for people who are millennials, the parents of our generation right now, which is scary that people allowed us to be adults, but we need information. And so you're giving it to that audience. And I appreciate that about you. You're also an entertainment journalist, which is why you're here with me today. And you're a fellow Beyhive member. Would you like to put that on the record right now and say that?
Yes, I'll put it on the record. I know that it's been questioned before because, I've been a proud member of the Beehive caucus for a long time, but I don't always walk the party line. Sometimes I have critiques and things like that. However, I have held steadfast in my mission to uplift Beyonce at all costs. And I do believe that the Yeehaw agenda is now part of our agenda, and it is strong.
The Yeehaw agenda. Let me tell you something. As somebody who's from the suburbs of Chicago, never had any urge to buy a cowboy hat. For Renaissance, it was glitter, so I didn't mind it. But now I'm in an actual Party City original cowboy hat because the Yeehaw agenda. I'm on it.
Party City Select.
The Party City Select.
Party City Select collection. the Cowboy Carter collection.
Literally. We are here for one reason only, and that is to talk about Cowboy Carter for as long as we see fit. Will this episode be 30 minutes like the rest? I have no idea. Maybe, maybe not. But the goal here is to get to the bottom of this album, the agenda, and what happens next. Are you okay with that?
There's a lot to talk about, so I am very okay with that. There's so many things to say.
There are so many things to say. So I asked you this morning if you had a top 5. You said that you took copious notes on every single song. So how did you even narrow it down to a top 5? What were you looking for?
And you asking me for a top 5, it was pressure because I still don't know if this is the 5 golden 5. There's more than 5 songs I love. How I narrowed it down is which ones did I add to playlists first. I'm a guy, I listen to an album through. If something hits me right away, I'll add it to a respected playlist. And so you want to hear these top 5?
I am very curious, yes.
Okay. In no order. I can't
fine.
Order yet. Blackbird.
Yes.
Very, very country.
Yes.
Bodyguard, nice little pop bop.
Really? Okay.
Levi's Jeans. Post Malone. I'm a Post Malone guy. Okay. I think the dude is underrated, undervalued, and I'm glad Beyonce sees it. And she brought out the best in him. Tyrant. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
What a ride. It's just the production goes so crazy, and I'm still trying to figure out. I've listened to it about 7 times now. I was working out this morning with it on loop. Is Dolly Parton singing in the background?
Okay, so you said that to me, and then I had to go back and listen again, because obviously the first time I listened to an album, it's physical, like I'm up and I'm dancing. So I had to listen to it. I mean, she has to be, right? Like,
at least in that beginning part and that end part.
Yeah.
The little country ditty.
Right.
But then I feel like even within the trap part, I hear like ad libs from her.
I
Giddy
believe
up.
that.
Like I can hear some vocals underneath Beyonce's vocals that easily could be Dolly because they fit her like really sweet, sultry, but very high pitched tone. So I don't know. I didn't expect to hear that much Dolly. I wanted more
Yeah.
Dolly for sure on this
Yeah.
project. So Tyrant easily, that's probably number one, honestly. Just gonna get the most replay value. And to hear that live, that's the reason why you go to the Beyonce tours, a song like Tyrant,
Yes.
you know?
Correct.
And then last but not least, I love Spaghetti. Um,
Honey.
there's so many layers to it. It went in a different direction than I expected. A lot of these songs did. They
Yeah.
start a certain way, and then you're like, whoa, a shift. And having Linda
Correct.
Martell, the first Black woman to play the Grand Ole Opry, one of the first Black women to be major in country music, to introduce it with thoughts about genres and what's the whole point of genres. And I think it kind of was a nice defining song of the album in a sense. If we're going to have one
Yeah.
song that defines it, I think what Beyonce's trying to get across here is that, yeah, I can do country, old school. I can do country, new school. I can also do my own thing and blend
Right.
whatever and make my own genre, a Beyonce genre in a sense, if that even exists. I think she's trying to make it exist because there's a lot of times, a lot of songs here, I can't tell you what genre they are because they don't fit in one neat little box. So that's a top five. I could have had Riverdance in there.
I know. I literally have like a top 5, and then I have like 5 honorable mentions. It's impossible to have a top 5. Okay, I've changed it 8 times. And here's the thing. I also have a process for listening to Beyonce albums, and I usually can't pick a favorite day one because I actually had an ex judge me for this. He was like, well, you just want to know what the party records are. Like, you just want to know what you're going to be dancing to. And I'm like, is that a crime? So usually day 1 and 2, my favorites are the party album or the party records, which is what I'm about to literally recite to you right now. But then you go back and you go through and you obviously can feel the other ones because you've already danced your life away. So my top 5, I have Spaghetti, which I feel like I was looking for the credits and I couldn't find the full writers list. Don't you hear Toby Nwigwe? Like that's like his cadence, right? Like he was in the room somewhere for me.
There's a little bit, there's a lot of songs here where I'm like, I hear something. There's an element. It's kind of like, remember when Childish Gambino had This Is America and you had all these different voices interspliced within? I think Spaghetti's one of those where it's like, there's a few elements here and different people letting their talent.
I low-key was like waiting for him to like come in with a verse because I was like, this is like so him. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing that full writers list because I want to see if he's on it. Obviously, Tyrant is on my list. What did you say? What a ride. What a ride.
What a ride.
What a ride. Wow. I'm a sucker.
That beat is crazy.
Well, and it reminded me of Renaissance, right? Where it was like there were 8 songs in one song, and we're like, how are we going to learn these songs? How is she going to perform them? How do you dance to this? Like, she'll figure it out. We're not worried about her, but it just was like so many things going on one track where like, because you have to read the lyrics as it's playing, and then you're like, are we still on the same song? Because she don't pause between songs no more. So like, it was just a lot to observe. The Jolene remake, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for it. I love it. And I saw someone say that like the original Jolene that Dolly Parton did is like, she's like begging Jolene, like, leave my man alone. And we knew that Beyonce just knows Carter was not going to beg anybody to do anything. So she obviously had to remake it and be like, I am from Louisiana. You will leave him alone. Find somebody else's man to play with. And that was the end of the song. And I loved it. Sweet Honey Buckin'. Literally 3 different songs in one. Obviously, Buckin speaks to my soul. I will be finding a honky tonk tonight. To your soul, Ashley? Are you kidding me? It's like me on a track. Like, never in my life have I had this experience. And then I'm a sucker for Blackbird too. Loved Blackbird. As a choir kid, we sang Blackbird, but then I didn't know the history behind it until this album was coming out. Paul McCartney writing it to actually be Black woman, because I guess over in the UK, bird and woman are interchanged, which we can have that conversation another day about why that's, not the best, but that's how they speak. But he was just speaking to what women were going through during segregation. And so the fact that now we know that, and then Beyonce had obviously other Black women country artists on the song with her, is just beautiful. I've seen Black women crying all over the internet listening to that song. So I love that piece of it. And then My honorable mentions, I obviously loved Riverdance. Daughter, mess with me and I'll act like my dad. How many people have I said that to? Doesn't matter, but I've said it before. An American Requiem. What a start.
Great
What a
start.
way to start.
Great start.
I wasn't ready.
It was so cinematic. If that's a, I don't know if that's a proper adjective for music, but that's what Beyonce albums and great albums do, is they start you
Yes.
out and get you engaged and enthralled in what they're trying to do. An American Requiem, it sets the scene. It's like watching a Christopher Nolan movie, but actually listening to it instead. Like, I loved it. Great opening. Great opening.
And I almost was listening to it like, I can't have my first song be the favorite. Like, am I already doing this wrong? Yeah. But then when I went back, I was like, no, it still hits. When it ended and went back to the beginning, I was like, no, this still works. Okay, do you know who else posted their favorite songs? And I was interested to see how it would compare to ours. Miss Tina, who also said, I can't wait for this album to come out so that I don't have to ask to listen to the songs, because, you know, she had to probably be put in timeout a tad because she was talking too much during Renaissance. So she had to ask permission to listen to the songs before the album came out. She said her favorites, Levi's jeans, and she said that's the one that gets stuck in her head, which I will say, I told you I was apprehensive about a Post Malone feature, and I thought he did very well. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Would it make you want to go listen to more Post Malone?
I mean, I guess, but does he sound like that in his other music?
He does. This man is a great writer, guitarist, good, like, he be doing it. People got to recognize Post Malone is out here.
That's fine. Listen,
I think we judge him because of White Iverson, which was a terrible song, and that was his debut, and that was his mainstream introduction. But ever since then, I mean, Sunflower. You ever hear Sunflower?
I don't know anything about this man other than
I'm gonna send you some stuff.
You can, but all I know about him is that his set went long, so Homecoming started late. If you are a real fan and you watched the live stream in 2017, then you know what I'm talking about. And people were tweeting like, "Who is this man and why is he still on stage?" That's how I know Post Malone, unfortunately.
But now you're warming up to him. Yeah, you're gonna warm up now.
Of course I am. This is
He's
a fantastic way to start.
Yeah.
She said Protector was also one of her favorites, which that one I believe is the one with Rumi. I want to say it was like a lullaby with Rumi. Yaya, which I've seen a lot of people enjoy too. And then of course Jolene. So that was Miss Tina's what, top 4.
Yaya is interesting. What I liked about Yaya, it's so country rock fused. It feels like a stepchild of Chuck Berry's music and Tina Turner's music. But then you got it sampling the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. She says the lines Good Vibrations and quotes it, but if you go back and listen to Beach Boys' Good Vibrations, some of those chords and everything are right there in the track. So whoever is producing these, I got to go through these credits because, wow.
I wonder that too, because I'm like, does Beyonce listen to the radio with a notebook in her hand? Like, how does she do all of this? Like, there obviously is a team involved too. But because you mentioned rock, and like, I was going to do this at the end, but it's fine to do it now. People think that Act 3 is going to be rock. Do you have, I mean, obviously we're all speculating, like nobody knows and she's not going to tell us. But like, they're saying it's because she's trying to reclaim genres that were heavily influenced by Black people. And so she started with house music. Now she's doing country, and they're saying that just makes sense for rock to be Act 3. Do you think that's a valid argument? Do you have a conspiracy theory?
I think it's a valid argument. I think that is likely the direction. I'm not enthused about it. It's like I wasn't enthused about a country album.
Country, right?
But I will be seated. I will be listening. So and I have no doubt it's going to be good. Like the thing about Beyonce that I try to get across to even the haters is that, which if you a hater of Beyonce at this point, grow up.
Self-love, focus on it.
Have some self-love. But those that just discredit her at every turn, I'm like, listen, you got to at least acknowledge that even if there's a project that you do not prefer, every project she makes is art. Right. It's got a message, it's got a statement, the production is layered. These are all artistic bodies of work. They may not all be your cup of tea. Like a great example, I'm a Black man. Lemonade didn't resonate with me. It's not something I replay. I probably have not played Lemonade since I first heard it. However, from the rip, I knew, oh, this is a great album because you can the quality stands out so much from everything we're hearing mainstream. You know what I
Right.
mean? So people got to give her flowers. So I have no doubt, even if I am not feeling the rock, I know it's going to be well produced and a great work of art.
And then you have to go see it live because then that's another level of the art too. And I think because people joke, and I sent you this TikTok that like y'all are already gonna say that this is the best album ever just because it's Beyonce. But it's like, yes, however, comma, that is because of the history. Like we're not just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there are songs that she's done. Actually, I can't think of one. I was gonna say there are songs she's done that we don't like, but I can't think of one. But like as fans, we sit and have these conversations with each other. It's just not safe to do it mainstream because then people will be like, ooh, is Beyonce like no longer the great? It's like, no, but it's art and you're supposed to talk about it.
I'll also add too, like I'm a person, I'm guilty with this rollout. I did not like Texas Hold'em. I heard it and I was like,
That's fair.
it's not my cup of tea, right? However, when you hear it within this album and the way it's placed in the album, sounds and hits a lot different.
Right.
And I found myself not skipping it. I was like, oh, this blends very well. Right after Willie Nelson, yeah, makes sense. Like the transitioning, the production was all there. Same for 16 Carriages. The way it's
Yeah.
sequenced on this album, the place it has. I mean, that's how you know an album is great. The album help
Right.
enhances the single itself, not just a collection of songs sprinkled with no meaning. They have to blend together to tell a story. And Beyonce
Totally.
is one of the best to ever do it when it comes to that.
And I'm glad you brought up 16 Carriages because I think that's a favorite too. But just because we've heard it already, like there's not like all that excitement behind it. But
Right.
even still, like you said, within the context of the whole album, it is still one of the best songs on there. And
Oh
I
yeah.
saw someone tweet like when she dropped the two singles that Texas Hold'em was for the country music fans
Hmm.
to like show them like, this is actually happening and I'm coming for your awards. But then 16 Carriages was for the Beehive to be like, this is for you too. You're going to be okay. Like, there's going to be everything on here. And that is definitely kind of the reaction I got as I was like scrolling through multiple social media apps.
That's a good point. Uh, this is what makes this album interesting to me, because I even agree with some folks that didn't like Renaissance. Renaissance, it's a project that's not going to hit for everybody because
Yeah.
it's so geared toward a certain genre, and if you don't like that genre at all, yeah, you're probably out of it. This one felt a little different because while it has country, obviously, um, it has something for all types of Beyonce fans. And let's
Yeah.
acknowledge there are different types of Beyonce fans.
Mm-hmm.
You have those that have Four and Dangerously in Love as their top tier. You have
Mm-hmm.
others like me that feel like Self-Titled is where she really hit a new level,
Mm-hmm.
and everything after that. So everyone has something on this album they can
For
enjoy
sure.
because she dips into all the different genres and versions of Beyonce we love, from pop to R&B, soul and gospel, and now some country, which if you look through history, country is so intertwined in R&B, soul, gospel and blues. That's why so many times when you're listening to this stuff, the point I think he's trying to make is like, what are genres? At the end of the day, it all came from something.
Right. Like, what is the purpose of it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't actually know now that you're asking me. And it's funny because one of my friends, shout out to Jalen, texted me. Shout out to everybody who texted me last night until I woke up to text messages from this morning. People know how much Beyonce album days mean to me, and I love everybody for loving me for who I am. But she was texting me last night saying that like she felt like the first half of the album super country banjo yodeling like you know what I'm saying, like those yodel tones and notes, right? So she's like, you could tell she recorded that right after the CMAs. Like she went straight to the studio with a bushel of hay and sat on it and started recording. Like that's what the first half sounds like. And then she said the second half, you could tell that she kind of just let go and was like, I'm going to do whatever I want. And that was probably where she said to somebody, this isn't a country album. It's a Beyonce album. I'm going to do whatever I want. Because the issue with saying it's country is like, I'm on TikTok seeing random white people with cowboy hats on saying this isn't country. And of course she brought up who are you? We don't need your opinion at all. We are here to enjoy the art. If you don't like it, you don't have to, but we're still going to be in your country venues. Like, let me tell you something. I'm about to be in somebody's honky tonk this weekend. Like, we're infiltrating. We're
Be
here.
careful.
You
Be
don't have to
careful.
like it. Oh, listen. I'll be in bed by 10. So, like, please, not all night. I have a curfew. Like, please don't worry about that. But like, it's about who gets to say that they like it or not. And her point was, I really don't care who likes it because I made it. So it's Beyonce music. And that's kind of my favorite part of this whole thing.
Yeah, I think country artists would be smart to embrace this. I'm actually surprised more country artists, mainstream wise, are not featured on this album. Loved having Miley Cyrus on it. That felt like a yes, you have to have her.
Yeah.
You know, but I was surprised not to have a
Like a
really
Carrie.
strong Dolly Parton feature, a Carrie Underwood,
Yep.
or Martina McBride, Reba McEntire. Like I was expecting some heavy hitters to give her that cosign. I don't know if this was necessarily. I don't know if the asks were made at all. I don't know if that was a
Right.
request that was made, or if it's just Beyonce said, "I don't need y'all," which is
Right.
fine either way.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're being honest about country music, and I think I probably listen to a little more than you do, even though I don't listen to a lot.
Yes.
I have a playlist called "Country Songs I dot 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 like."
I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah.
Which
That's
is
hilarious.
it's like 32 songs of all time that are country that I like. The genre itself is so stale, and I think that's the reason why I
Mm.
put the question mark with like. There are country songs that stand out, that are distinctive, that are great, and they're soulful. They're ballads, they're melodic, the lyrics hit. That you don't have that as much anymore. And so when you go to a song like Riverdance, which has that country, those string instruments going, but then gets into a Louisiana bounce beat,
Honey.
like that's a way to shake up and wake up the genre in a way.
Right.
They should be embracing that. That is something that I could see a number of artists hopping on easily.
Totally.
So I hope that I'm excited to see what the what the reaction and response is going to be over the next few weeks and months to
Aren't
this
we
project.
all?
Yeah.
And I would argue that the people who do well in the genre in the way that you're describing it, why would they want somebody to shake it up? Because then they're going to have to adjust and they are succeeding with it being the way that it is, right? Like I'm a conspiracy theorist, and so that's what I believe in the moment, and it makes sense to me at least. But I obviously this is the first country album I've listened to all the way through. I'll be honest with everybody, okay? And I think that's what she wants, right? Like
Yeah.
it's been able to be so, for lack of a better word, segregated the way that it is, just because it's like we didn't. And when I say we, I mean Black people, Black women didn't see ourselves represented in it as much. And then you hear Black country artists come out and say, well, they're not welcoming me. They're going to make sure I don't blow up. So this is awesome because nobody can keep Beyonce from blowing up. Like the greater message here about really amplifying what's going on in the genre and why a lot of Black people haven't had interest in it is very cool. And then also on the other hand, living in Texas, seeing and hearing so many Black people from Texas saying like, oh my goodness, this is like what weekends were like with my grandpa. We would sit and watch, dream music videos. I'm like, really? But I love that that's all coming together. So in terms of the genre, and you and I were talking about this earlier, what does the CMAs do now? Because for context, Beyonce has not come out and said, I performed daddy lessons with the Chicks 5 years ago and people were rude and people were like the camera angles were situated strategically to get people that were excited, but like it was clear that it was uncomfortable. Social media, there was lots of racism after her performance, like why is she here, why is she performing? And so in her caption announcing the album, she said, I had an experience 5 years ago where I did not feel welcomed. She has not named the CMA specifically, but if you are a Beyhive historian like I am, you know exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Now, she could have named the CMA specifically and said, this happened to me there. She did not. Do we think that's because she wants to perform there again, a song from this album? Does she need that?
No. Well, that's the thing. She doesn't need this. let's
But
make
for the
this.
principle, she even said on the album, "I'm being
It's for the
petty."
principle. It's for the
Yeah.
principle. It literally is. She had a Thanos reference
Oh,
on
yes.
spaghetti, which you know I love.
Yes.
Um, eh, but this is her in her Thanos mode. She's collecting her Infinity Stones, and one of them is the country bag. And I think she would be like, "Hey, she'll go to the CMAs. I have no doubt about that." And I think the CMAs would be smart to roll out the welcome mat and say, "Yeah, come on through." One, you're going to have great TV ratings for a live CMA show, maybe the most watched CMA of all time, because
They
Black
didn't
people,
care the first time.
we love to watch. Well, that's true, but wait, we love to. It's also a different era. I mean, now, how do I put this? Back then, it was a first time, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
you have all the context and background. It should be easier now for the CMA Awards and country music community to say, "Hey, we made a mistake. We acknowledge this great work. Welcome to the family," right? And not be so gatekeepy. Because the thing about it, and this is why it's great that Beyonce is doing this, you can't gatekeep an all-time great, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
genre, right? Like there's certain people, certain names, Prince, Michael Jackson, and I'd put Beyonce up there at number 3, that are just like icons above any genre, just music wise. Everyone's gonna hold them up all time as a big 3 in a sense. How you gonna gatekeep against that?
Can't.
You can't. You can't.
Can't.
Especially with the cosign of 2 of the greatest country music artists of all time, Willie
That's the
Nelson
thing.
and Dolly Parton. Dolly
That's the thing.
Parton is actually going to be doing a lot here to help. Not that Beyonce needs it, but to help build that bridge between her and the country community.
Mm-hmm.
Because who doesn't love Dolly Parton? Dolly's
Right.
basically given her endorsement here and saying, "Hey, let the woman in. Country's for everybody," as I believe she believes and has believed for a long time, and I believe it's the truth. There's plenty of Black people that like country music. I don't know if I'm one of them, but let's bring them all under the tent.
I don't know either. And it's also like, what's strategic? Because Beyonce doesn't just like remake songs every day. Like,
That's the
doesn't
truth.
need to,
A
right?
Jolene
So
cover is very rare. Yeah.
it is strategic, in my opinion, because if Dolly calls up the CMAs and says, "I have been begging Beyonce for years to redo Jolene. She did it. I love it. And I would like to sing it on your stage with her." Bring it. I think you can tell Dolly no.
Most watched live performance of all time. You'd be saying no to money. Like that. Dolly Parton and Beyonce together on stage.
Singing
It needs to happen.
Jolene.
It needs to happen, Ashley. It needs to happen.
Like, you can't say, you would have to, I don't care how much you dislike what's going on and Black people come into your honky tonk. You can't say no to that.
No.
If you count dollars, you can't.
Yeah. Especially like when you consider a lot of this is going to be viewed in a political lens. There's no doubt about that.
Sadly, yeah.
Sadly, and they're going to call this a DEI thing, trying to get her on the CMA Awards. But what helps is Dolly Parton is probably the most apolitical music figure of all time.
Mm-hmm.
She has done a tedious job of making sure that she is not viewed in a political lens intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
She is loved by everybody across all spectrums, Black, white, yellow, red or blue state. It's kind of bizarre. So to have her give the nod here, I mean, it could be a unifier in a sense, honestly, between people. I think it's a great opportunity. CMAs would be dumb not to do it. And if the CMAs don't do it, then hey, BET Awards, MTV Awards, Grammys, somebody better do it.
Oh, Grammy. Well, I was going to say Grammys for sure, but she also brought up her lack of Album of the Year award on this very album. So I don't know if she would want to give that to them. But to that point, as we Beyhive members ask every album, is this the one to get her Album of the Year? I mean, what more does the lady have to do? She has every genre known to man in one album, 27 songs. Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, Miley Cyrus. I mean, what? What more could they want?
Yeah.
Which we said last time, but I mean,
well, that's my thing. I feel like she has put together works that should have been done one album of the year. So I I'll say the same thing I say every time. This should be a strong contender for album of the year, and it probably will be album of the year, even though we still got a year to go. Um, but it may not win. If Taylor Swift drops something, I don't know.
Why would you say that? She is dropping something.
Oh, you're right. She is. See? So
Child, I can't. Listen. I won't survive that. That can't happen. That won't
shenanigans.
And the shenanigans.
You know what should have happened on this album? This is what I thought would happen. I was hoping would happen. I thought Taylor Swift would get her back in her country bag and be on this album, which would have been a great olive branch. Because the two icons themselves, they like each other. The fan bases gets a little fictitious.
I mean,
and I feel bad. I feel bad for Taylor, which
why?
Because I don't think she deserves the blowback as much. She is a good artist, a great artist. She's a great songwriter. Midnights to me was a good album, not her best album, but it was a good album. It's just when you're pitted against Beyonce.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you're set up to fail. Whether you win or lose, you're set up to fail. So she's not a winner in any of it, and I would love to see.
She's winning just fine. I think she's more than okay
with her base, right? But still, I know that she does not like some of the toxicity and animosity that she receives because she unfairly got album of the year here and unfairly gets awarded some things when she shouldn't over some other Black artists.
Right.
So I'd like to see some unity between the two. I want to see them do a song together.
Interesting.
Maybe she appears on the tour. Maybe Beyonce pops up on Taylor's album. I've been speculating for a long time that they had something cooking. I hope it happens. Hope it's released.
Wow.
Speaking of speculation, Lady Gaga, what happened?
Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. So many things. And don't let me forget that because I also have comments about that too.
Okay.
I think, number one, I'm trying to go on record politically correct as a representative of the Beyhive. So I'm trying to think before I speak. I think, number one, I don't think people have ever denied that Taylor Swift has bops. I don't think that as individual Beyhive members, there is an issue with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has bops. Somewhere out in the universe, there is a Snapchat video of me singing 22 on my 22nd birthday all day. It exists. I'm telling you to go find it. Nothing against the lady.
I think people think you're biracial.
This is not the platform for that. You're gonna have to come back for a different episode to have that conversation. Okay. But I am not biracial, for the record. Both my parents are on my Instagram. Anyway.
Biracial girl.
Don't do this.
Biracial world.
We promise not to roast him on this podcast for him to come here with material. This is insanity. This is a crime against humanity.
I will play nice. I'll play nice.
Anyway, I think it's when Swifties start comparing the two. Like, oh, Beyonce could never this. And we're like, Beyonce could never what? Like, what? Are you sure you want to go there? Because we have receipts for days. So I don't know that there's animosity like people are arguing somebody's not talented. It's just like, how about we don't compare the two because there is no comparison. And I will safely leave that there. In terms of them doing a song together, I obviously saw the speculation and thought Beyonce can't do that because if she does and then wins album of the year with Taylor Swift on it, she can never live it down. Then it will be, well, you're welcome. And we don't need that. We would rather keep losing. And yes, I said we, like I work for Parkwood Entertainment. We would rather lose every time than get it and be made to feel like we got it for reasons. So that's kind of, I really didn't expect to see Taylor on there, especially because she left country in the past a long time ago. And I don't even mind her country era. You know, like Mean is a great song too. Very country. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, Lady Gaga. She
Uh-huh.
was another speculated collaborator because they
Yeah.
have two iconic songs together, one on an album for each. And what did you send me? Somebody's stylist posted Telephone, because their song that was Beyonce's was Telephone. No, Beyonce had Video Phone, Gaga had Telephone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. So it was like Gaga's old stylist was posting visuals from Telephone and posting whatever. And it was like, are we getting a collab? And then we did it.
Yeah.
Why not include, I mean, she's not country, but I don't know.
Well,
It would
Gaga's
have been
kind of
nice.
stepped into country a little bit with the
Since that movie,
yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but they
Yeah,
know
me
what we're
neither.
talking about with Bradley
Born to be a
Cooper.
star. A Star is Born.
A Star is Born. There you go.
Yeah.
Are we old? Are we aging?
We sound like some aunts and uncles. Something about a star born and the stuff.
Somebody was born somewhere.
Yeah, ultimately, part of it is I think Gaga has made it clear music to her, that part of her life, is not a primary focus of her life anymore.
Sure.
Especially she's been filming this Joker movie, this Joker sequel, where she plays Harley Quinn. It's a musical. Like she's very tapped into the film and theater side right now in a way. Still, you'd think she'd have a little time to hop in the booth and lend some vocals.
I feel like if she was asked, the answer would have been yes.
So here's the other thing. Maybe she was. Maybe it happened. It's very possible that there could be a deluxe and that track, we get a surprise video and song release. Still very possible. It's only been one day.
Yeah.
You know?
Touche.
So we'll see. It's also very possible in the rollout to the tour, they release a Telephone sequel as well. I think it's still out there. I think those breadcrumbs made sense, especially like people piecing together the trailer, having some similar visuals to the Telephone music video.
Yes.
You know, there's some elements there. The breadcrumbs connect enough. There's got to be something cooking. I haven't lost hope on it for sure.
And we have been begging for that for probably a decade at this point, honestly. Yeah. Like, I mean, they owe us.
Lady Gaga, if she would have kept going, could have been up there with some of the all-time greats. Some people probably have her up there with the all-time greats. I don't think she's got the discography volume yet to really do that. But
they gonna come for you.
They are. She's one of the. I'll put it this way: she's a force. She's one of the greatest talents we have today.
For sure.
One of the greatest talents of our generation. She's just not on that Michael Jackson, Prince, Beyonce level yet. However, hard to find anybody closer than she is, right? Like,
because her artistry was insane.
Oh,
insane!
That first album she put out, no one talks about this enough. Had the most insane first 4 songs probably of any album
Honey,
ever. You had Poker Face. You had Starstruck. Like, it was just like hit after hit after hit.
Like all mainstream hits too. Like, it doesn't matter what your favorite genre of music is. It doesn't even matter if you knew it was Lady Gaga or not. You know those songs if it starts playing, which is insanity. You started talking about touring.
Yes.
Let's talk about next steps. we have heard, as a conspiracy theorist, this is my favorite part. We have heard rumors on the interwebs about Beyonce performing in Vegas, having a residency. And then why? Because here's the thing. I don't see a country album translating in Vegas as a residency, but that doesn't mean she can't do it and it wouldn't be successful. My issue is I don't see her touring this year. She just did it. Putting Renaissance together took a year. And she's still a mom. So she has told y'all many times that she ain't uprooting her family like this craziness all the time. I don't see her doing it this year. Maybe next year. But I feel like there has to be some special aspect to this. Will it only be in the South? Will she do her own Chitlin circuit? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Will she only play country music venues? Like, there's something in here. I don't think that she's just going to do a world tour on this. I don't see it.
I can see where you're going, and I could see that. I'd encourage her to do something different. If she just stuck with a Southern tour, I know I'm a Midwest guy. I'd hate that. But if she just stuck it to Louisiana, Texas, rodeo circuit in a sense, I, saloon style, that'd be unique. It'd be cool. It'd be creative. I said nah to the residency thing only because I feel like residencies, I tend to view them more as one, they're incredibly grueling. So if she's worried about, you know, schedule and family, I mean, a Las Vegas residency is going to take up all
Yeah, her
your
whole
time.
family has to live in Vegas,
And they
essentially.
don't. I don't think she wants to go
No.
to Vegas. I also don't think her career is at that point yet. I think a lot of times residencies are reserved for people who, um, how do I put this? Uh,
Carefully.
Carefully, people who are great, all-time greats, who are in a bit of a lull or
Hmm.
haven't put out a lot of music in a while or stuff like that. So think Usher, right? When's the last time Usher had a good album? I, I'm just saying, uh, all-time great
Oh my
dude,
God.
all-time great artist, deserving of a residency. He did
Yeah.
that residency because he needed to. Like that.
And it
That's
worked. I don't know that we've ever seen it work like this, right?
well,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
wow.
Mariah Carey had a great one too. Um, I could see maybe Gaga doing a residency because she hasn't put out anything out in a long time. But Beyonce, as a person who's actively still impacting culture in the music scene, I feel like a Vegas residency is beneath her at this point.
Interesting.
For,
Okay.
for, for now, it's rare that you get an artist as big as her currently and actively who's like active in the game say, you know what, yeah, Vegas, let's go.
And
Like
I think that's why it allegedly fell through because they can't pay
right.
current pop star coin.
That's the thing too. Like she
Right.
has a lot of currency. I'm still amazed at how Verizon was able to get her for a commercial.
Okay. Still at that, ended the commercial with, so go to my Instagram. What? The fact that Verizon couldn't even play a clip of a song or anything, it was like, okay, we had fun making these millions. Now go to my Instagram where the real story is. What?
It's the first time I've been okay with my phone bill going up because it definitely did.
Oh, we paid her. Yeah, I'm sure we did.
we
Honestly,
we got that Beyonce tax, which I'm happy, the Beyhive tax. But yeah, I'm curious to see what the tour is going to be. It's an album worthy of touring on some songs. There's other songs I'm like,
yeah.
this is more fit for like a nice intimate, not a stadium. I don't know.
I
She's a
don't see.
stadium artist.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
exactly. A
Yeah. So
million
we'll see. I'm
percent.
I'm curious. Also, I'm curious who she brings out. I mean, Dolly's got to come out on a stop for sure. Has
Yeah,
to.
Dolly ain't going all around the world though, or really
She
all
ain't.
around the country.
She ain't. But just like with the Renaissance tour. I mean, Meg the Stallion didn't come out for every tour. Kendrick didn't come
Did
out for every
not.
one. He just came out
Did
for
not.
the relevant ones to his city. So when they in Nashville, bring out Dolly. Honestly, Nashville's the time to just bring out
That would
everybody.
make me upset. Now you're gonna make me go to Nashville. I already done had to go to Houston for Renaissance. You gonna make me go to Nashville?
That'd be a fun
Lord.
trip. I've never been to Nashville. That'd
Lord.
be fun. We just a bunch of black folk taking over Nashville, Tennessee.
But and see, that's what I think she wants. That's why I think she's gonna do something creative because it's like you're gonna
Mm,
have all of these black people going to venues that probably has never seen as many black people in a year, let alone a day, right?
Grand Ole Opry.
Huh, could you imagine dropping a trap beat at the Grand Ole Opry?
Oh, Grand Ole Opry. Oh,
Could you imagine?
now, there's a lot of challenges to getting into the Grand Ole Opry. We talk about gatekeeping in country. Woo! If she can get in the Grand Ole Opry, that is a flex.
Hmm.
Oh my, oof! Please, this needs to happen.
And part of me wondered because what Houston Rodeo Houston was just a few weeks ago. Part of me
Yeah,
thought she would line it up with that.
same.
Could
Yeah,
she do something there next year?
she can make her own Rodeo Houston.
That too.
You know,
There are so many options. Or take the Rodeo Houston around the United States because even that's an experience that I had never heard of till I lived in Texas.
I could also see her just saying, Act Two, here it is. Enjoy it as is.
Right.
Not gonna do a tour. Maybe do some, like you said, some small intimate shows, and then Act Three, grand finale.
And tour
let's
on both.
integrate it all. Especially if Act 3 is rock influenced. There are
Mm-hmm.
some rock elements to this one as well. So you can easily fuse these two better than you could Renaissance.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
We gonna see.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm also glad that we recorded this because if we're right about anything, I'm going to claim that they got the idea from us.
Can I give one critique of the album?
Yeah, of course.
One critique. I love that it's a Beyonce album, not a country album. I love that it's genreless, and I'm glad that when people say genreless, sometimes they think they lose the fact that it needs to have a meaning still. She maintains that. I wish the features just would have been a little stronger, especially on Blackbird. I think Blackbird was an opportunity.
Yeah.
She used it to uplift some Black women in country music, but I didn't feel like I got enough of them.
Yeah, really, like you didn't get to know them.
Exactly. You know, because I really don't know them.
Yeah.
You know, I really would have loved to see more of that. Shabuzi got a lot. I mean,
he did, and on some really good songs. I wanted more from. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say this. I wanted more from Willie Nelson.
I was
right
when I saw his name. I didn't think it was just gonna be like radio intros.
Yeah, I was like, no, I need him to get on a harmonica. Like, I wanted something.
Well, we got to go through the credits because he may have been. That's the thing. I'm curious who is in the credits.
Yes, me too.
And especially Tyrant. I really feel like Dolly Parton is interlaced throughout the song in more ways than we think.
I'm gonna have to listen again.
Please, because and maybe it's my ears playing tricks on me too. But that first part or that little country ditty and the final country ditty at the end, there's someone harmonizing with her.
Well, and you have to remember, she's known for, like, even on Renaissance, Chloe and Hadley clearly did background vocals, but like it wasn't spoken of and they were never on anybody's stage. Not that that's how she would handle Dolly, but I'm just saying, like, it's not something that is like outside the realm of possibility for her to do and not speak on it.
And Dolly strikes me as the type to be like, I'm going to do this intro. People know I'm on it. It's called Dolly P. And then people can make up their minds. She doesn't need to be credited. Dolly Parton I think she feels very secure. I don't think she feels like she needs Beyonce. I would argue she does not either. It's
very wealthy.
It exists. Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And which I respect that.
Yeah. Okay. Not to put you on the spot, but I'll put myself on the spot too. You know how people always have like their top 3 Beyonce albums?
Oh boy. All right. Oh my gosh.
Do you see this infiltrating your top 3 Beyonce albums?
It's surprising. I could. I am shocked. First of all, not that she made a good album with 27 songs, the fact that there can be a good album with 27 songs.
Touche.
I feel like in this streaming era, a lot of artists put out albums and they literally just collections of songs, and it's like 30 songs like Chris Brown does, and they all sound the same.
You were going there. I knew you were going there.
And you just press shuffle and you just hop. It's just going to sound the same. And it manipulates the streaming numbers. Same for Drake. You know, I think Kanye's guilty of this too now.
Yeah.
And so when I saw how long it was, I was like, without listening, I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah. I texted people like 27 songs is insane.
Like, come on, don't do this to me.
Renaissance was like what, 17, 16, something like that. It wasn't in the 20s.
It was nice and sweet. This, I have never heard a project this long where every song is distinctive, different, blends together well, and I can justify all 27 being on the album. There's not a song that I would say, would have shelved that or saved it for this or that. All of them, great. So I could see it creeping up in that top 3 because of how unique and different it is. I think it's got a lot of replay value, especially for songs like Tyrant. Oh my gosh.
She has songs in there that could be in movies. Like it can be in so many places for a minute.
The song Bodyguard is one of those where I could see myself on a boat. I could see myself on the beach. It's it's a nice little pop ditty. The Beatles could have made it. Like she's so versatile, and it shows her versatility as an artist probably better than any album she's ever made. So I probably put it in the top 3 off of that. Just the statements made, the
Interesting.
versatility. Now look, it's fresh. It's
I know we
recency
could feel
bias.
completely different by the time this comes out, which is the crazy part. And we probably will. Who knows?
It's
I don't think
recency
I will.
bias. It's totally recency bias. I'm also a different type of Beyonce fan. I have the controversial view that you and I have discussed that I don't think Beyonce really achieved great album status until the self-titled album. I thought that was the first time she made like an album where it's like, damn, this is phenomenal. Whereas the other ones have been like to me good with songs that I can throw away here and there and stuff like that.
4 was no skips. That's the only one I'm going to fight you on. 4 was no skips for me personally.
4 was good,
but
4 is it's probably my number 4.
Oh wow. Well, and I've always told people that I think 4 was peak Beyonce. Like she locked in on who she was as an artist and what her sound was, and then I think from there self-titled became her experimenting, because that's when you started hearing her kind of dipping into other genres. For me,
yeah,
that's what I hear.
I'm a sucker for experimentation, so I'm definitely going to admit that like I'm always going to grade on a curve when it comes to that. So
yeah,
for that reason, yeah, self-titled's up there. This one is going to shock you.
I'm actually not ready. It's not Lemonade, so
it's not. Even though I do think I think if
that's my number 1, I'm gonna tell you right now.
I think that's completely fair, and I think objectively, if I just say objectively, what are her best albums without my personal preference? Yeah, Lemonade's probably her best.
Number 1.
It's the best one she's ever made, just from an artistic standpoint. My preference, the top 3, self-titled. I like Black is King.
I'm not gonna fight you on that.
I really like I found myself going back to it.
Yeah, and like I don't know that as a whole body of work it's my favorite, but some of the songs on there are, I agree, some of her best.
There's some great songs on there. Like
I agree.
And the visual, the visual aspect of it on Disney Plus was really great, especially on an edible. It was incredible. This might be number 3. I liked Renaissance.
Wow.
I liked Renaissance. I really, yeah, this might be number 3. You really put me on the spot here, because
which is tough, and nobody can hold you to it, because any real Beyonce fan changes their top 3 every single day, depending on the mood you're in.
It's just like with Kanye West. They have so many great projects that picking 3 out of all the great projects, it's just a great testament to who they are as artists, because
for sure
they just made these great bodies of work collectively, and there's something there for everybody, and there's an incredible amount of work and focus that goes into every single project, and you can see that. So
yeah,
I think this may be a top 3 album for me.
Wow, that's saying a lot, because you wouldn't just say that to say it. You of all people would not say that to just say it.
I wouldn't. I truly, yeah. I was listening to it last night, and I'm like, yo, if I'm saying yo that many times, like it happened a lot. Yo,
right?
What?
And now I got to listen to it in the car, and then I need to listen to it at the gym, and then I need to listen to it at a concert. Like there are just so many different ways you have to listen to it before you can make a firm decision. But that is,
I got to hear Tyrant in a stadium.
Have to.
When that beat drop goes, like,
wow. I have chills just thinking about it. I'm sweating just thinking about it.
It might get me back to the clubs. I might have to step out.
So we were talking about features a minute ago. I just need to say this out of love, just so people know that I don't mind being honest. I feel like Rumi could have done more.
Wow.
I needed a note. Like even Blue was like,
that's right. Go after the children. Let's hold them accountable.
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. No, I'm totally joking.
Can I share? I dislike almost every song that has her kids on it.
Really? I was just gonna say that I like the "Come Home to Me, Come On." What was it? The Blue song, where she was like, "Bisaye, Bisaye."
Yeah.
But
They're cute, but like, and I love them within the context of the albums themselves. As individual songs, I mean, I'm also not a mom. I'm not a person that's ever, I don't know, I'm not into kids like that.
we're
So,
both not parents, not even close. Yeah.
so I'm just kind of like, if there's ever skippable songs on a Beyonce album, it's always when she puts some kid on there.
That is not where I thought this was gonna go.
And that's just me with any artist that puts their kid on a song.
Yes.
That's Kanye, that's Jhené Aiko when she had her kid on it. I just be like, skip.
We're gonna
I ain't
get
here
canceled.
for that. This ain't daycare.
Oh, this is a cancellation. Oh man. And
But
my cowboy hat too.
Love the
Love
kids.
the kids. Love the kids.
Love the kids.
Look, love the kids.
Love the kids. And Blue did so great on that tour.
And I thought Blue was gonna like drop a verse on this album, like as just a reward for like how great she did on tour. I was hopeful for that, but we didn't get it. Anyway, do you think we'll end on a hot take? I didn't hear what you said. I'm scared. What did you say?
I was like, I don't need that. I don't need.
Oh my goodness.
To do too much.
She's gonna be a pop star, whether you like it or anybody likes it or not. Like, and we need some nepotism in the Black community. Like, I'm ready for that to happen.
Black nepotism. I love it.
I'm gonna support it whether it is great or not, because we need that in our community. Anyway, we're gonna end on a hot take and then in reflection. Are you ready?
Okay.
Do you think that her saying out of her mouth, this is not a country album, is going to be a loophole for country music to say, that's why it's not winning CMA awards? That's why we don't want her to come perform. That's why we're not going to let her into the Grand Ole Opry. Was that not a mistake, but are they going to use that as a technicality for her to not get into the spaces that we want her to get into?
You know, Ashley, you're asking me to speculate on what white people will do to hate on a Black woman. And honestly, the answer is they'll do anything. So absolutely, they can use that, and they might use that. And I think Beyonce knows that. I don't think Beyonce feels like she needs a CMA award, needs validation from the country community. I don't think she does either. I don't think she's doing this for validation from them at all. I think that's the best part about this album. Never once do I feel like she is putting her hand out and begging to be accepted
for anything.
This space. Not at all. She's saying, I'm going to do it. And if you want to come along on the ride, great.
I'm doing it simply because you told me I couldn't. Let's be clear.
That too. Yes. And I'm going to show you, regardless of what you believe or how you feel, this album going to do numbers. It's going to get sales. It's going to win some awards. It's going to do all of that. It's going to have the critical acclaim, and y'all can cry about it. You can either get on the ride or you can pout about it in the corner. Correct. You know? And so, yeah, they may utilize that exact statement. I think she knew they might. I think she knew that. The game, the ball is in their court. If they want to put the olive branch out there, they're the ones that have done the harm, not just to her, but to so many Black artists, and so many Black people over time, over decades, literally boxing us out, ripping off our music, taking our music from our people. At this point, the ball is in their court to put the olive branch out there and invite Black people into the space. We're not demanding to be into any doors at all. We're not going to knock and ask to get in. You can let us in or not. We don't care.
Or not. And it's still going to ride. And it's still going to happen. And it almost invalidates the need for them to validate anything. Like, it's almost dangerous for them to handle this poorly, because
also you got to take into consideration the timing. Country music is not having any problem at all in terms of numbers. You could argue country music is probably more popular now than it has been in ages. Just off Billboard charts and numbers and stuff, like and sales. Like, country music more popular than ever and probably more diverse than ever. So you could have country folk being like, we don't really need Beyonce. I'd argue they do, but they could be justified in thinking we good. Both can go their separate ways, and it's really not gonna
be just fine.
And be just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that there is a world where when we do have children and we're sensitive to children being on songs, because maybe that day will come, where there can be a world that is genreless? Or do you think that you have to achieve superstar status in order to have your own voice and your own lane, really, in music? Or should the goal be just make a song and who cares if it's a genre or not?
It's tough to be genreless because it requires you to be exceptional. Not a lot of people today in music are exceptional.
They're TikTokable.
TikTokable, chartable, great in a commercial, great in a hotel lobby, great at Target, but are they exceptional? And are they willing to take risks? That's the other thing too. Music today, the music artist is more about commerciality and sales more than ever before. It used to be folks weren't debating album sales, record sales, or how much streams or any of that. It's just you do it for the love of the craft, right? If it makes a lot of money, great. If it doesn't, it's a bummer, but I'm still going to do me. Now everything is about manipulating the algorithms, trying to get all the streams you can, trying to get all the money you can, get a good TikTok hit. And so for that reason, genreless is a huge risk. And if you flop, Ice Spice, Drake, any of these
Yikes. How many times have we been canceled in one podcast episode?
We can't be canceled. I love Ice Spice. I'm one of the greatest Ice Spice supporters out there. I do.
Really?
I do. I think people are way too mean to Ice Spice. Way too mean.
Yeah, there's no reason to be mean to her, but I think there are valid questions that she answers.
What are the questions, Ashley?
Listen.
You don't want to propose those questions now, do you? But okay, we'll talk about it.
I do not.
We'll talk about it offline. But what I'm saying is basically genreless. I'm not sure it's possible in today's music climate to be a success,
right?
Unless you are exceptional. I think Kendrick has experimented with this genreless thing. He's been fusing jazz and blues and rock as well. Kendrick and Beyonce at this point. The Weeknd, that's a guy I'd consider genreless.
What a name to throw in. Okay, I can see that.
I mean, look, the man he's been experimenting with different genres his whole pop career. And that's a man I never expected to have the career that he has. If you were listening to him in the mixtape days, woo-wee, he went from cocaine, emo stuff to some dark stuff to all of a sudden it's like 80 cents and pop. Like the range, right? Not a lot of people have that. So yeah, I don't think genreless is possible, but I encourage artists to take those risks. And I hope that audiences reward it because you need that. We need artists to be daring, to be brave, to challenge conventions. That's what being an artist is about. And I think a lot of times that artistry has been lost in today's music scene.
Yeah. Brandon Pope, we survived a whole episode together.
We did.
And listen, I don't know who should have been more nervous, me or you. My God. But
me. I thought I was going to come
definitely not.
And have a bunch of questions that were
about feminism. Are you a feminist?
I am, obviously.
But I'm not asking you, please. That's another episode too. We got 3 episodes.
They don't call me feminist B for nothing.
Ladies, nobody calls him feminist B.
That's not, ladies. That's not true, ladies. They do, and you can find out.
All right, no, you can't. This is not The Bachelor. This is not. You do have a Bachelor podcast, but this is not The Bachelor. You are not The Bachelor. Okay, Brandon Pope.
They call me feminist B. Yeah.
No, they don't. I've listened to it. No, they don't. I appreciate you. The listeners appreciate you. Not only do you disrupt in your field, you disrupted my piece today, and I appreciate you for that.
The ultimate disruptor. I should get like a trophy.
No.
Disrupting her piece.
Honey, and hopefully we can do a follow-up when she does whatever tour thing she does to see if we were right and compare the two. That's what I'm going to put out into the atmosphere.
Well, thank you for the invite. It's been great to rap with you about this. It's great to just talk this stuff out. I'm excited to dive back into this and see how the conversation goes. There's going to be a lot to unpack as the weeks go on.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you always. This is the only time I'll say it publicly.
Yes, I got it recorded. Beautiful.